So welcome along to A Story to Tell with me, Richard Beauvoisin. This is mainly taken from my Radio Bath show every Thursday morning from 10 until 12. If you do like it, don't forget to subscribe, share it to others and let everyone know all about Radio Bath. Hope you enjoy it. Welcome along, it's Richard Beauvoisin here on Radio Bath. Sarah Lloyd Clarey, good morning.
Good morning. It's quite a moniker, isn't it? It's quite a mouthful.
Sarah Lloyd Clarey. So
yes.
What can I ask, has it always been double-barrelled, or were you one and then the other?
No.
What were you originally?
I started as Sarah Lloyd.
Okay.
And then when I married an Aussie, as you know.
I do.
And I didn't want to be Sarah Clarey.
Sarah Clarey?
Sarah Clarey in Australia. And also I lost my brother in a car accident. So I'm the last of the Lloyds. So I wanted to keep the Lloyd.
Okay.
And Clarey Lloyd didn't sound good, so I'm Lloyd Clarey.
Lloyd Clarey.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Now, let's say how we know each other, and it's been some time, hasn't it, Sarah? So let me just very quickly point out to everybody, I've known Sarah as a friend, as a dance partner. You're on stage with me most weeks. You come around to my lessons all the time. We've been drunk together, and you've been my Pilates teacher as well. I get very confused about what relationship we have, and now for the first time, you're here on the radio.
Yeah. It's exciting.
Is it? Yeah, I know. I love it. It's great being on the radio. And we're here primarily to talk about your Pilates. However, we're going to talk dancing and also, as I mentioned in the previous part, about being a parent of adopted children as well. And there's lots of things. Now, we talk a lot at dancing, but actually, equally, we don't talk a lot at dancing because we're dancing.
No, you're concentrating.
Yeah.
You say hello and then you get into a dance and
you say goodbye.
You say goodbye, or you talk about technique, or you talk about what you're doing at the time, but you don't really get to chat that much, I don't feel.
So I'm fascinated today to find out more about Sarah Lloyd Clarey. Now, very quickly, we do need to clear up why on Facebook you are called Perry Clarey.
Well, I didn't do Facebook, I don't do social media. I mean, media in general.
Yeah.
It's texts and emails, so being on the radio is a step out of my comfort zone. Perry was a previous dog. So Perry got named after the place in Australia where my in-laws live, which is Mount Perry. And that was my dad's idea. So, yeah, Perry was a dog. And because we have adopted children, we do need to keep a little bit of anonymity on social media. So Perry Clarey it was.
So lots of people think your name is actually Perry, don't they?
I get called Perry all the time.
Yeah.
Or Sarah Perry or Perry Clarey.
Yeah, all of those bits and pieces.
Not often my actual name.
No. And the strange thing is, in the dance world, is that there are lots of Sarahs.
Yeah.
So therefore, everyone has nicknames, and you're known as Pilates Sarah.
I can handle that. I can handle that. Or curly hair Sarah, big hair Sarah.
Okay, that's the other one.
That's the other one I get.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've never called you that. It's always been Pilates Sarah. The other Sarah that's recently joined our crew is known as Salsa Sarah.
Salsa Sarah.
Because she originally started dancing
When
salsa.
I was at school, there were 3 Sarahs in my class. I was little Sarah.
Aww.
I've always been little Sarah.
Have you?
Not sure how big Sarah felt about being called Big Sarah.
Well, all I'm going to say...
We're not in touch anymore.
Are you not? Well, I'm going to say a very similar story in that my name is Richard, as you are fully aware.
Oh, I can see where this is going already.
You can see where this is going. And still, in my football team...
Please don't.
We're going there. We are going there. There is a big Richard and there's a little Richard.
Yeah.
Yes,
no, I don't want to know.
Big Dick and Little Dick.
I
even have a T-shirt with L Dick written on it. So
oh, that's sad.
I know, it really is. Anyway, I want to find out more about Sarah, and the first thing I want to find out is what took you to going into Pilates then?
When I came back from living in Australia, I joined a little gym in Bath, and it was the 90s, and it was very fashionable to do body pump, and you had to kind of like banging music on. We were doing weights. We were on little rebounders, and it was fun. It was really good fun. And then one day, she said, "Oh, next week we've got a guest teacher coming in. She's a Pilates teacher," and no one really knew what Pilates was. We knew Madonna did it, but that was as much as we knew. And a lady called Mara came in. It was a very gentle mat class. You spend most of the hour thinking, am I doing this right? am I doing this? Am I breathing right? Am I moving my body in the right way? And the next day I woke up and I ached all over, and I couldn't believe that basically an hour of lying down made my body ache so much. And I did it again the following week, and I've loved it ever since.
And you are annoyingly good at it as well. Now, we'll talk about my Pilates journey in the next part.
It's a very short journey, Richard, if I'm honest.
Quite a short journey. I'm aware of that. And I'll talk about that later. I really will. But starting off, so did you have to do qualifications and stuff?
Yeah, so I did Pilates as a client from, we think I started in about 97, 98. Can't actually remember when. And I've always loved it. I used to go back twice a week, and friends of mine and my husband had said, you should maybe teach it because you enjoy it and I think you'd be quite good. And I thought, oh no, I'm comfy in the job I was doing, and just enjoyed it as a client. And then I was looking after an uncle of mine who lived with us, and he sadly passed away, but left me a little bit of money. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to use that to do my training. And I signed myself up for a weekend. Well, it was weekends over 6 months to teach beginners. And
every weekend for 6 months?
No, it was once a month.
Okay.
So you did a Saturday, Sunday, once a month. There were coursework and prep to do in between, and then you had to log hours that you were practicing. And then, so that was going to be a 6-month course. And I loved it so much after that first weekend. I came home and I said, Lyle, do you think I could hand in my notice and just become a Pilates teacher? So that's what I did.
So Lyle is your husband,
Lyle is my husband,
the Australian.
Yes.
Does he have much of an Australian accent these days?
Not as broad, no. He's never been as broad as his brothers and sisters, and I don't know why that is.
How long ago is it that you guys were together?
We met in 1990.
Wow. You must have
a
been
long
very
time
young
ago.
then.
I was 19.
19?
Yeah.
Blimey. Very good indeed. So Pilates then, just very quickly, what is Pilates?
It's a method of exercise, so it is a method. It's not meditative in the way that yoga is, but it is a mind-body exercise. So you move your body in a very mindful way. You're always thinking, why am I doing this? Which muscles am I strengthening? Which muscles am I stretching? So it does take you out of your body, really, and take you away from anything else that's going on, to-do lists. Yeah. Stroppy teenagers, whatever it might be.
Are you saying you have stroppy teenagers, Sarah?
This is how my life is at the moment. Yeah. And it just, it keeps me calm and sane and fit and healthy. And it was invented by a chap called Joseph Pilates.
Okay.
Who was born in the 1880s, 1883, I think. He was a very sickly child, very poorly child, got bullied a lot. One day he thought, I'm fed up with this bullying, I'm going to do something about it. His parents were fitness people, naturopaths. His father was a gymnast and boxer. So he was around people who were fit. He just wasn't fit. Yeah. And then as a teenager, he thought, right, I'm going to do something about this. And he trained to the point where age 14, 15, he was posing for anatomical models. He was that built at 14 from going from a sickly child. And then developed his own method of exercise, practiced in Germany, was in Britain during the First World War, and then took it to America. Okay.
And because we often talk in the dance world about your core.
Yes.
Explain to everybody, first of all, what is your core?
Your core, in Pilates, we sometimes call it our powerhouse. That's quite an American term. But it is the closest muscles to your spine. So the top of your core is your diaphragm. Bottom of your core is your pelvic floor, and you have abdominal muscles at the front, spinal muscles at the back. So it's the closest, deepest muscles to your spine.
Okay. The way I always try and think about it is that I always kind of say you've got bone down to the bottom of your rib cage.
Yes.
And you've got bone to the top of your hips, kind of, that sort of area. All the bit in between is squidgy.
Yes.
And therefore, if you've got good core, then you've got more control of your body.
Over that part of your spine that isn't supported by a structure around it. Yeah,
absolutely. We're going to come back with lots more about Pilates and loads of other bits and pieces with Sarah right after this.
Made locally in Bath. This is Radio Bath.
Back now, it's Richard Beauvoisin on A Story to Tell with Sarah Lloyd Clarey, who's a Pilates teacher. We're going to delve deeper now into actually what is Pilates. So my image of it beforehand was that you simply lie down and do a bit of twiddling here and there, and it's really, really easy. My experience of it is it's not that.
No, it might to the outward eye look quite easy, and quite often when I'm in a group class, we are on the mat lying maybe on our side, lifting our feet 2, 3, 4 inches off the floor. And I joke, if someone came in now, they'd look at you and think, oh, that's a piece of cake. What are they doing that for? What on earth benefit could you be getting from just lying on the floor, lifting your feet up a few inches?
Yeah.
And it just looks all very easy, all very relaxed, but actually you're working really, really hard. And that's often the case. The smallest movements are the most challenging.
They definitely can be. Now, you mentioned earlier that my Pilates journey was quite short. Okay?
Yeah.
Now, I'm going to tell
It's
you...
because you're so busy.
It is because I'm so busy, you're right. That's a different matter altogether, though. Now, as a teacher, I'm aware that stuff that I've said to people have quoted back to me 10 years later, and I'm like, did I really say that? I'm going to quote back something you said to me as my Pilates teacher.
Oh, hang on. Was I in teacher mode or was
You were in teacher mode. Yeah, you were in teacher mode, I think. Or maybe we were chatting afterwards.
I think we might, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. You turned round to me and said that I'm one of the least flexible human beings you have ever come across in your entire life.
Did I say that?
And you know what? You're absolutely right.
I was probably thinking, well, he's a dance teacher. He must be super flexible, right?
And I'm not, am I, Sarah?
No, not so much.
It's quite funny how unflexible I am, in fact.
Yeah, we're going to use the word funny.
We're going to use the word
It's
funny,
surprising. I'm going to say surprising.
Yeah, you'd expect more from me, wouldn't you?
I would expect a little more ability to lift a leg beyond 45 degrees from the floor, yeah.
Yeah, I'm blaming anything else that I can think of. I'm going to blame wine on this occasion.
Do you know, I think you probably picked the best style of dance for you.
Have I?
I think if you'd have chosen ballet, your career might have been a bit shorter.
Yeah, it's unlikely that I can raise my leg that high. Definitely, when you see people doing the splits and stuff, it's unlikely.
It makes you cringe.
It does. However, I do quote it back. Okay, in a positive way. Because, like, when I'm doing the follow part in dancing, for instance, and I go to do the splits a little bit, I can get reasonably low, but not as low as you can, for instance. But then when I'm talking to people that are lesser ability than yourself, and I say, look, even and I've been once described as the least flexible human being on the planet, I exaggerated a little bit, I can get this low, so surely you can get that low as well. So I've turned it into a positive.
Okay.
That's my theory behind it, and it's not a bad thing
Apologies.
to do. You don't need to apologise in any way, shape or form. You're right. I'm not very flexible. Could I get more flexible though, Sarah? And how?
I think you know the answer to that, Richard. I think you know the answer that yes, you could.
I'm going to give you a spoon.
He's
Let me feed
miming
it to you.
digging himself out of a hole, and the word that you need to is practice.
Practice.
That's right.
What should I practice, Sarah?
Regularly. Stretching.
Stretching. Okay,
Richard.
let's get, because a lot of Pilates is stretching as well, isn't it?
It's strengthening and stretching in equal measure.
Okay, so why should I stretch, Sarah? What's the aid going to be for me?
Because we're not getting any younger, Richard.
I've turned 32 just recently. I don't know what you're talking about.
As we age, stretching becomes more and more important.
Okay, why?
More and more important because we lose the elastin in our bodies.
Okay, so I'm currently struggling with a shoulder injury.
Yes.
The latest injury and a long line of injuries, which is why I'm doing more sat down, if I'm honest with you. What would be good stretches for my shoulder, for instance, then?
Generally letting go of tension, so you would lift your shoulders up as high as you can. I'm doing it now, we're on radio, you can't see a thing.
That's okay. Describe what you're doing, Sarah.
So as I'm breathing in, breathing is an important principle in Pilates and with a lot of exercise generally, but you're breathing in as you lift your shoulders and raise them
We're doing it together,
all the way
just
up
to
to your
let you know.
ears.
Join in with us.
And then gently exhale as you gently let your shoulder blades slide down.
I really need to see a doctor.
There's a very creepy breathing sounds going on now.
So
we're breathing in as we lift and exhale as you let your shoulder blades slide and glide down. And you can feel the muscles in your neck lengthening and you can feel tension just letting go out of those shoulders.
Okay.
So that's one thing, is letting go of tension. That's important because we carry a lot of tension, and when you're in pain, that makes you even more tense because you're ready for your pain, you're braced for your pain.
Yeah, do you know, I played football last night and I made sure, because I know that if I crash into somebody, then my shoulder is extremely painful. So whenever there was anybody around me, I gave them a wide berth. I really did, because I was tense.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious because I was so tense to start with, I had zero balance to the point where I air kicked twice. Now, for those that don't know what an air kick is, imagine the football in front of you and you go to kick the ball and it may as well have not been there because you kick in a different direction. And I did that twice. I was so tense and I was worried about my shoulder.
Which you can get away with in golf when it's a much smaller ball, but in football, I guess it's a little bit more embarrassing.
It was slightly embarrassing. I just laughed about it, if I'm honest with you. It took me about half an hour to get my balance and actually just relax. And then I was all right in the second half. But yeah, to start with, my tension affected all of my balance. Is that quite normal?
So, when you have pain, yes, you hold yourself in a certain way and it becomes your normal, so you don't realise you're doing it.
Yeah.
But then you walk into a room and if there's a movement teacher there, they can see how you've been holding your shoulder, how you're holding your hip, how you're holding your side.
Because I know whenever you turn up to my studio, I always clock you looking at me. I don't know if you're aware of this or not.
Yeah, people watching is really good.
Yeah, and you can literally see, you're like, oh, that bit's gone.
That bit hurts.
Yeah.
I was at the beach this weekend. We went on a little holiday, and yeah, people watching on the beach. It's I'll never be out of work, I don't think.
No, I don't think you will. Now, talking about being in work, how do people actually come and see you? Are you live? You Zoom? What's your scenario? What's the setup?
I only had in-person classes, so I teach in-person group classes in the Bath area. I don't tend to travel that far. So I have about 10 classes, 11 classes a week that you can come and enrol and be in a group of people exercising together, which I love because you get energy from the teacher, but I get energy from the clients and from working in the room together. After lockdown, we all discovered what Zoom was, so I have kept some Zoom clients and Zoom classes because they aren't in Bath at all. Some of them are in Spain or France, so I see them in a Zoom class.
Some of them were in Trowbridge when I did your Zoom classes.
Some of them were in Trowbridge.
Yes, those few that I did. Now, I have to say, I didn't stop doing your classes due to not liking Pilates. I'd like to point that out. I just ran out of time. And I know the classic thing is that I need to allocate more time for myself to look after me.
You do if you want to prevent injuries, yes.
But do I do that?
No.
No, I don't. I just carry on. You know, I could get rid of a session every Tuesday afternoon if you want, and I could do some Pilates then, but that's a different matter altogether.
No, don't you dare.
That's your session,
my dance
isn't it?
time.
That is your session, indeed. You do one-to-ones as well, don't you?
Yes. Yeah, clients come to me. I have one client that I go to her house because she's so special she can't possibly come to me, but the rest of them all come to my studio. And use the equipment there. So
now let's talk very briefly about your instruments of doom. Okay, so and I call them that. Okay, so you have shown me your instruments of doom in your house in Bath, and some of them look.
It's not a dungeon because it's on the ground floor.
It's not a dungeon, but if you imagine going into a dungeon in a certain type of club, apparently, then
I don't know what you mean.
Then some of these instruments look like they could belong there.
You can hang upside down from your ankles if you so chose.
Yeah. And so what are the purpose of some of these instruments of doom then?
Well,
what's their official name? Sorry, I shouldn't call them instruments of doom.
It's just equipment, Pilates equipment, large equipment. So they came about because Joseph Pilates was in Britain, as I said, at the time of the First World War, and he was a German national living in Britain while we were at war with Germany. So everyone went to a internment camp on the Isle of Man, or that's where he ended up, on an internment camp for foreign nationals on the Isle of Man. And the role he was given was in the infirmary, looking after anybody who was injured or poorly. And at the time, bed rest was recommended for rehabilitation from anything. Yep. These days it's get up and move. Back then it was stay in bed.
I remember my auntie being advised with a bad back to stay in bed for 3 months.
Yeah.
She put on 4 stone and never really got out of bed again.
So he was told you can do anything you like with these patients as long as they stay in bed. So he rigged up systems with pulleys and springs, bed springs. He used what he had. There was, they were in the middle of nowhere on the Isle of Man, and they were in basically a prisoner of war camp. That's why the equipment looks like a bed, because that's how it started. The patients were in bed, and he had them doing upper body exercises, leg exercises with ropes and pulleys and bed springs. So that's why the Cadillac looks like a 4-poster bed.
It does.
That you attach
It does. And when you do your Zoom lessons, that's what you're normally on, isn't it?
That's the table I use to sit on and lie on, yeah.
Because I looked at it and I'll be honest, I was a little scared. I really was. Now, I told you just off air to prepare yourself for a compliment. And the reason I said that is, how often do compliments come from me?
No, they're very hard earned.
They are Paul Holloway standard, aren't they? Let's face it. They don't. It's something which I'm working on myself personally to remind people that they are doing good things. Okay. Now, I told you prepare yourself for a compliment.
I'm
from
braced.
me. Brace yourself.
I'm getting tense now.
Yeah, you should be getting tense. I've done, believe it or not, a number of different Pilates classes in a number of different places. And you, by a million miles, are the best Pilates teacher I've ever come across.
Oh, thank you very much.
That
is quite a compliment.
You are incredibly clear. I'm not saying this just because you're a friend of mine, but you are incredibly clear. You know what you're doing, and you can do everything.
Yeah, I truly feel I found the thing I'm supposed to be doing with my life, which is a brilliant thing to be able to say.
Yeah.
Very lucky.
And how many hours a day do you reckon you do Pilates?
3 or 4, probably.
And is that you doing it or you teaching it?
Oh, doing it, teaching a day, 5 or 6.
5 or 6 hours. But actually doing Pilates
7
3
or
or
8.
4.
Yeah.
So your core isn't bad then?
I'd say it's pretty. I'll toot my own horn. I feel, pound for pound, I'm the strongest person I know.
Yeah, and annoyingly, I'd say you're damn right. You really are. It's time for some music. We're going to change tack slightly next and listen to all about your adoption story. Can't wait to hear about that because I don't know that much about it.
No.
So back with Sarah right after this.
Made locally in Bath. This is Radio Bath. Radio Bath.
Back now with Sarah Lloyd Clarey. It's Richard Beauvoisin here, right until midday today. We've been talking about Pilates so far and your little journey
It's
on
a big part of my life now.
It's a huge part of your life, but also a huge part of your life is the 2 children that you have. But they...
Little angels they are then. No one tells you about late teenagers until it's too late.
I can see your teeth being gritted right now when you say little angels. You don't mean that, do you, Sarah? I can tell these things. You don't. Is there a chance they're going to listen to this?
Probably
you never
not.
Know. Probably
they might.
Not. They might.
They might. It's a stage.
It is.
They're going through.
It's been a long stage, hasn't it, for you? But they're not your natural children, are they?
My boys are adopted.
They are adopted. Now, we've known each other for a long time. I know you've had adopted children. Outside of that, I don't know anything.
I don't know very much.
I don't know anything. So tell me kind of, if it's okay, why did you make the choice to adopt children?
Well, I didn't want children in my 20s. I had a few friends that had children young, and I thought, blimey, not ready for that. That's all a bit serious. So you spend your young life, and I was married. So you spend quite a lot of your younger years thinking, I don't want to actually have children quite now, and you do what you need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen. And then in my 30s, I thought, maybe we'll think about this soon. And then Lyle lost his job and decided to go, well, we had conversations about him going to college and doing a degree. So I was then going to be the main breadwinner for the next 3 years. That put family plans that we were sort of thinking might happen on hold.
How old would you have been at this point?
Mid-30s, 34-ish.
Okay.
33-ish, something like that. Yep. And as soon as we'd made this agreement, I thought, oh, no. Then I could start feeling the clock ticking. I was like, yeah, exactly. So we'd agreed that we weren't going to have a family for a couple of years because I was working, Lyle was studying. And that's when I thought, oh, now I really want to be a mum for the first time ever.
Yeah.
And then friends started having children around me, and we made an agreement that it might take a little while, so let's start trying. And
let's practice away.
We tried and nothing was happening.
Okay.
So then you spend another year or so going backwards and forwards to the doctors, getting every which test tested. Didn't really find anything. Had a few rounds of IVF that were unsuccessful. And
IVF,
quite hard.
Beatrice, our child, is an IVF baby, and we were very fortunate that happened first time.
Yeah.
But there's so many people that don't. And the one thing which they talk about when you go through IVF is whatever happens, stay together as a couple, because it's heartbreaking sometimes.
It's quite hard. I only did. I've spoken to people who've had multiple rounds of IVF, some of which have been successful. Some, when I say successful, they've resulted in children, but others not. For me, 2 was enough.
Right.
I felt, and Our infertility was unexplained. They didn't really know. It was sort of 50-50. My hormones were not quite as they should be. Lars swimmers were not as great as they could be.
Yep.
And they were saying our chances for the next round would be about 5%.
Oh, wow, okay.
Which is like, well, that's 90%, 95% chance that it won't work again.
And it's not cheap.
It's not cheap.
No.
There's the financial cost and there's also the emotional and physical cost as well. So, yeah, I found it quite a hard process.
Because it's very strange, isn't it? For those that don't understand IVF, is effectively they put you into early menopause by removing everything from you as a woman and then flooding it all back in one go.
In a controlled way, yes, or as controlled as they can make it.
And that, from a mental perspective, is incredibly challenging, not just for you, but for your partner as well, because, you know, the whole different way in which the hormones work is challenging.
Yeah. And you know, the doctors, they do their best, but they don't, you know, there's a lot that is unexplained and they try and change in between cycles. This drug didn't work, let's try this drug. And when you're told 5% chance of it working, it's like,
okay. So at that point there, what were kind of the options available to you in your head?
I think we'd always talked about the possibility of adoption. Lyle had mumps in his 20s when I knew him, so that was potentially a reason that adoption may come up, because mumps is a cause of infertility in men.
Yep.
But then when we made a few phone calls about adoption, there were, in our local area, only one agency prepared to talk to us because they wanted more time to have elapsed between the last cycle of IVF and the beginning of the adoption process. And
to make sure that you were mentally in a place that you weren't kind of jumping
in a place.
into
And
it.
you're like, yeah, but I just want to ask a few questions. And there were quite a few agencies that were like, no, come back in 6 months. And again, when you've been waiting years of doctor's appointments, years of tests, each cycle of IVF takes way longer than you would think.
Yep.
You think, oh, it's a month. No, it's not. You know, and you're not getting any younger.
No, as we've discussed many times.
It's quite remarkable how we're still in our 30s 20 years later.
Both of us are still in our 30s, Sarah. Yes.
In our heads.
My body's not saying that, but there we go.
But then we found an agency that was prepared to talk to us, and they just said, well, come on in and we'll have a chat.
Okay. And what was that process like? Because I've heard for some people going through the adoption process is almost like an interrogation of your life.
Oh, it is. Absolutely. You need to unpick your life from the moment you were born to the moment you decided to adopt.
Right.
So your upbringing, how your parents were with you, what your discipline was like when you were a kid, how many moves you've had, what schools you've been to, everything is analysed and talked about. And and the reason that you have to do such a lot of work is because when the kids come, you don't have any time to think about this at all whatsoever. So they said, do the thinking first, because when the kids actually arrive, you'll hit the ground running and you won't have time to think.
But this is a strange thing, isn't it? Because if you think of a natural birth, you've got the preparation time as in regarding practicing. Let's go down that route. You've then got 9 months, theoretically, of mentally preparing yourself for this little bundle of joy that's going to pop out that you've got no idea what to do with, that there's very little training about still. But you've had quite a long time of prepping and you get it from day one. Now, being an adoptive parent, you don't have that. It's literally they're doing the preparation during all of these interviews and then you get, here you go.
Yeah, I did feel slightly resentful at the time, I suppose, because again, time passes, friends are having children, they're just turning 2 and 3 and they're having more and more birthdays and more friends are getting pregnant and having kids, and you think, so frustrating.
So how long is the adoption process that you went through?
It's changed since we did it. It was about 9 months of going to see social workers and being interviewed, and you have to do a lot of writing. That is a skill that is taught to you by adoption. Honestly, any form that you ever have to fill in life after you've adopted, piece of cake.
Right.
Piece of cake.
I use AI.
I'm not sure. I don't know. Would that work?
Yeah. I can't write at the best of times. My writing is literally illegible. Doctors are jealous of my writing.
So I did feel slightly resentful of the fact that we were being I felt judged, very judged. And through the whole process.
And I suppose if I go back to even a simple thing like getting a dog, they kind of grill you quite a lot on getting a dog. But obviously getting human beings, it's their job,
bit
really.
More important.
Yeah, it's their job because you're going to be responsible for these human beings for a long, long time.
But looking back, actually, when the children did arrive, the whole process, as long as it took, and it was 9 months plus, you know, by the time you're matched and linked with children, It's, well over a year. But actually, I feel quite lucky that when your kids have issues, you've got social workers on hand. You can ring them up anytime, day or night.
Right.
You've got, psychologists, psychiatrists, nutritionists, anything that you could possibly want, you've got that on your Rolodex because you've got those links with all these professional people who want to help you and make it all work.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I suppose a lot of parents that are parents of their natural children would look to their own parents for that help, which might not be that good a help. Because I'd like to think that each generation gets slightly better at looking after children than the previous generation.
See, no, I'm lucky. I'm just trying to do half as good a job as my mum did.
Oh, wow. That's an amazing thing to say.
I feel really lucky.
Yeah, amazing thing to say.
She's not with us anymore. She never met the boys.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to say. How old were the boys when you got them?
They were 4.
Okay.
We just missed. They were 3 and not 10 months old when we first saw them. We didn't speak to them and we didn't meet them until just after their 4th birthday, so we were a bit gutted that we missed a birthday. But again, looking back, there have been many more birthdays since. Didn't really matter, but at the time it felt
And was it,
quite important.
because they're twins, aren't they?
They are twins.
Was it twins you were after?
No, you're told to adopt the family that you want because it's quite a process, and there are groups of kids that would otherwise be separated.
Yeah.
So, if you're from a big family, my boys at the time had 6 siblings.
Right.
And we've been in contact meetings with the other adopted parents looking at the 6 of them going, does anyone think you might have adopted 6? And we're all like, no.
Okay.
So, the families are broken up, but it was always on the cards to keep the boys together.
Yeah, so the boys have stayed together, but their siblings are in different places.
Siblings are in different places.
So I'm just trying to get. So there's 6 of them in total, not 8. So it's not.
There is now 8.
Oh, there's now 8.
Yeah. I think we're stopped at 8.
Right. Okay. So 8 siblings in that family. And what is the process like these days? Because I know back in the day, certainly when I interviewed Steve, the founder of this station, he was saying that there was never any contact with the actual natural parents, and now I think they've changed that somewhat, and that sometimes you do have contact. Or kind of what's the scenario when you were going through?
Again, I think it changes all the time. When we adopted, so it was the early 2000s. 2011, we adopted our children. Well, we matched with our children in 2011, 2012 at the time we actually adopted them.
Yeah.
The scenario, the courts decide. Basically, the courts decide what kind of contact is appropriate for the family. So each case is individual, really. Safety is a factor, obviously. Is it safe for these children to have contact with birth parents? Or not. I think it's normal for there to be contact with siblings.
Okay. Well, we're going to find out lots more. We've not finished the adoption part yet. A little break for music. Back with Sarah right after this.
Across Bath, Westbury and Warminster, this is Radio Bath.
Back for the next part now. It's Richard Beauvoisin here right until midday today with Sarah Lloyd Clarey. She's a Pilates teacher. We're in the middle of an adoption story for the 2 boys that you have who are angels at home. Your words, not mine. We're going to delve a little bit deeper into it. And the first question I've got to ask is kind of, where did they come from? It might sound like the strangest question in the world, but were they from Bath?
No, they were from much further afield. So they're actually from the north of England. So they came with a very broad accent. And mummy, daddy, don't rightly know. That was Joseph's party trick. He could say, I don't rightly know. And you go, do the thing, Joseph, do the thing. But then he's lost that. He can't do his north of England accent, regional accent anymore. It's quite
gone.
sad.
So
we thought we'd need a story for it because I have a Somerset local accent. Lyle is Australian. And then these 2 small people were talking broad Lancashire accent. And we're like, we're going to have some kind of backstory because you don't want to announce to everybody that you meet these children are adopted. Sometimes they're behaving in such a way you want to say, actually, no, sorry, we've only just got them.
Yeah.
But you don't want to tell everybody because it's none of their business.
No,
really.
absolutely not. No.
But we had a story that we used to tell for why the boys sounded the way they did. I sound the way that I do, and Lyle has an Australian accent.
What was that story?
We'd been working in the north of England, so we'd moved up to the north of England. Lyle had work up there, and that's why the boys.
Okay.
And then we've come back to where I grew up in Bath.
In the centre of Bath. Okay. And again, excuse my ignorance on all of this, but kind of how do you choose? I'm thinking like going to an RSPCA dog pound and walking around going, I like that dog, but I don't like that dog, and like feeling bad for the dog that you don't like.
Pick.
Is there like a Tinder for adoption people? Do you just like swipe left?
I mean, I guess these days it is online. I don't think it would be as brutal as swiping left.
Don't like look at that one.
Back when we adopted 2010, 2011, it was in a magazine. So you got a magazine called Be My Parent.
Right.
And there were basically on a page a photograph of the either child or little sibling group, and then a paragraph of information underneath. That's all you had to go on. And if you were interested, then you asked your social worker to contact the children's social worker and exchange a little bit more information if the social workers thought that was a good idea.
Right. Okay,
so again,
brutal.
you're in someone else's hands. Someone else is deciding on your family.
Yeah.
Your future family. So we met our boys. We'd gone to panel. It's called panel, where on the day that we actually had our interviews and we'd done all the writing, all the preparation, at the end of that assessment, you go to what's called a approval panel, and you are sat as we are across a desk, except for there's a panel of 7 or 8 people interviewing you as a couple to be parents.
How did you feel about doing that?
Very nervous. Very, very nervous. At the panel, after we got approved, we were taken to a little side room while they went off into their huddle and made their final decision. It's like waiting for exam results, but 100 times worse.
Yeah.
And our social worker came in saying, very pleased to tell you that you have been approved, and we thought you might want to look at these boys. And they handed us a picture of our boys.
Right.
They were looking incredibly cute and angelic, age 3. Very, very cute.
As they do now.
I still have the picture.
Do you get the picture out from time to time and look and go, look what I had?
Yeah, and we were very lucky. The foster carers that our boys had, they'd taken oodles of pictures from 9 months to when we got them age 4. So they were with foster carers for a long time.
Okay,
so we have got
the early years.
Early years.
So, difficult question now, Sarah, and again, be as anonymous as you need to be on this, I suppose, but it's not normal that children get put up for adoption. Normally they don't come from the best background necessarily. So did you find out kind of why your boys were up for adoption?
Yeah, you get to know if your social workers are good, and I think again we were quite lucky going through the process that we had a team of people around us that really, really cared.
Yeah.
And the boys' social worker in the north was a great guy. He really wanted the best for that family that he was really making difficult decisions about. He was making decisions to split up a family group.
Could you say there's now 8 siblings?
There's now 8, At the time there were 6 and then a further 2.
Yeah, and I'm guessing not all twins.
Not all twins, no.
So they've gone into lots and lots of different directions. But I'm guessing it must be the original family just weren't capable or able to look after them all.
It was a chaotic family, neglect and
and that inevitably
abuse,
has an impact on the boys growing up.
Yeah, we've always told, and again, you're advised to tell the boys the truth, to depending on where they are in life. So the truth that you give a child age 4, 5, 6 is different to the truth that you give them age 15, 16, 17.
Yeah.
But a version of the truth.
Okay.
And you do life story work. It's called life story work. So the boys' social worker prepares a story, and it is a story because it was a story for 4-year-olds at the time.
Yeah.
This is what happened to your family. But the boys' story was called Beautiful Feathers. So it was written by the boys' social worker, and there was a story about some little ducks who couldn't live in the nest anymore on the river because it was unsafe.
Okay.
And there was a story about the ducks being taken to different parts of the riverbank to live with different families.
Yeah.
And the families had different coloured feathers. They were all beautiful, but they were different. And that was really, really cute.
That is very cute.
Yeah.
I'm feeling quite emotional about listening to it. Because it must be very difficult just thinking about, you aren't their birth mother.
No.
And, I certainly, when I look at my children, whether they're being good, bad or ugly, whatever, they're always my children, and I can see a lot of my own personal traits in them.
Yeah.
And therefore I can almost sometimes blame myself a little bit. But for you, you don't have that. They're not your birth children, so they have different traits than you may have had naturally. So it's kind of like that nature and nurture moment. Kind of, where are you at with that?
There is. I think, again, you have that with your own birth children. You could be, I am quite a careful person. My brother was a bull in a china shop kind of person, and we were full siblings and we were raised in the same way, but we were completely different people. And again, for us having twins, I think sometimes when you have twins from babies, when babies are very small, they eat, sleep, poop and cry, and that's all they can do. And then they develop their own little personalities. So my boys had their personalities by the time we met them. And yeah, you just have to roll with it as best you can. But I think in the beginning, I mean, we had 2 4-year-olds that arrived. We packed them up in a car. We drove down the M6 and the M5, and we arrived at home with a carload of stuff. And for a long time, it's like I'm looking after someone else's children.
I was going to say, how did it feel that first day of getting home, and then all of a sudden you are now parents, going from not parents one day to parents the next? Of a 4-year-old or 2 4-year-olds?
2 4-year-olds.
Because I had the scenario, my eldest was C-section. So I went to bed one night knowing at 9 o'clock the following morning
he would be a dad.
He would be there. It's not like, the waters are broken this day. You don't know when that is. It was going to happen. And I still remember thinking, this is weird. I've got a quiet household because my wife at the time was in hospital. And therefore I had one final night almost of freedom. Don't want to say that, but, and then you become a parent. But you kind of missed the first 4 years. So all that development.
Lots of catching up to do. Lots of catching up to do. But I remember, we drove down the motorway with a roof box. We were like, we're going to have to, we need more space. So while we were up in the north of England, we had to buy a roof box.
Oh, right.
And again, some adoptive kids come with very, very little, because they've been removed from a situation and they have very little. But ours had been with foster carers for 3 years, and they had a collection of toys and clothes and stuff and memories. And
they'd been in the system as such. So going to one stable household now is hugely better than going from foster carer to foster carer, I suppose.
Yeah, absolutely.
So my last question on this really is, and again, please ignore, I apologise for my ignorance in this, but you are the mother of these 2 children, now late teens. Is there ever a fear that they might kind of want to go back and be with their birth parents? Is that a real thing?
Yes, it can happen. For us, geographically, we are a bit more distant than some of their other siblings. So it is a real situation for their next 2 eldest siblings. They do, or one of them has gone back to birth mother.
Right.
So it is something that is definitely possible. I feel that our children are curious about it.
Yeah. Have they ever met their birth parents?
Not since they had contact in a sort of family day centre when they were 3 years old, I think, was their last full contact. Again, we have a photograph of that moment where the last time the siblings were together with birth mum in a family centre.
Yeah.
So we've got that memory. She's written, again, the court's order what that contact is. So the court's ordered that we write to birth mother once a year through a letterbox system, and the birth mother writes to us. She's written one letter which we haven't received because social workers didn't think it was appropriate and asked did we want to see it or not. And at the time we said not. So that's on file somewhere, which we can get. The boys can access their records now they are 18. They can contact social services and get all their records. We've got a lot on file at home. At the moment they're not asking to see them.
Well, you're mum and dad, aren't you?
We're mum and dad. We've not hidden the fact that they have siblings. For me, they can never be like brothers and sisters in the way that I was raised with my brother. I feel if we can keep the communication channels open and they can have a relationship like cousins might, that live at opposite ends of the country, that they're aware of each other's existence, they might see them in holidays. Maybe they'll go off, in a couple of years travelling for a bit, go on an adventure together or something. That might happen. Who knows? There is a bond.
Yeah.
We haven't seen them for a few years, but when they're together, there is something there. And they're not like complete strangers.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I know it's not always easy to talk about all this type of thing, but there'll be many people, not just yourself, that have gone through this and will have had very many similar experiences. We've known each other for a long time. We've never spoken about it.
Not really, no.
I know you're an adoptive mum, but that's about all I knew, really.
And, sometimes, my boys are 18 now and they are, I think, behaving like typical 18-year-olds, which can be quite challenging. But then you think back to how far they've come and actually what a really difficult start they had in life. And, it's A-level results day today. I was, just before I left to come here, I was motivating one of them to go, do you actually get your results today? Because it's an A-level equivalent. I'm
Yeah.
assuming they've come out today, and he's
They
like,
have.
oh, I don't know. I'm like, can you find out, please?
Yeah.
So that's procrastination, if ever there was. But
The wonderful world
You
of
know.
procrastination.
he's got there, and that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And I think he's passed. I don't see any reason why he hasn't. We saw his end of year work, and it was as good as anyone else's. So, yeah.
Well, you'll find out, no doubt,
I
after
know
this.
when I get home.
You will do. Back with Sarah right after this.
This is Radio Bath.
It's Richard Beauvoisin here, right until midday today with Sarah Lloyd Clarey. We're talking about Pilates, we've talked about adoption, and now we're talking about the thing that we do together, and that is dancing. Yay! We love dancing, don't we?
Absolutely do.
Yeah.
It's people ask me, how often do I dance? And I'm like, as often as I can get away with.
Yeah.
Because my husband doesn't dance, and it takes you away from family. So, yeah, as much as I can get away with.
Do you wish he danced?
Lyle, used to. I used to wish he did, but now not so much. There's too much catching up to do.
Well,
It would take too long.
You're not a bad dancer, are you? Let's go down that route there. Now, you come to my studio every week, and every week I still get flabbergasted at all the different things we do every single week. It felt very strange not having you there this week, if I'm honest with you.
Oh,
And you've been coming around. You're the person that's been around to my little garage, my little studio, the most, which I think is about 275 times now, which
sounds like an awful lot.
It does.
It really does. But then when you put it in strictly terms, incidentally, nearly strictly season
I
again.
know.
That's exciting.
I'm seeing all of the people that are coming out. I read a number of them out to Zoe last night.
Alex Kington, she's the only one I know.
Yeah, I knew one of them.
Yeah, that's the only one I know. But by the time the dancing starts, it doesn't matter, does it?
No, it's pretty irrelevant.
You get invested in the
Yeah.
dance and the couples that
We're
they
still
make.
waiting for our good friend Mike Edwards, Eddie the Eagle. Is he ever going to get on to Strictly? He's a dancer. Might have to sort his posture out.
I think maybe.
But there we go. We'll find out one day. He's not on it this year. Not that I'm aware of anyway. He hasn't
Yeah.
told me. I'm sure he'd have told me by now.
I'd love to go on Strictly.
I think we would all love to go on
Yeah.
Strictly. I did think about doing a...
I'd have to become famous first. Maybe this is the first step.
You never know. You never know. But yeah, I did think about doing a local Strictly, like getting people in and with teachers, and then I realised it was an enormous amount of work, which I didn't have time for. So yeah.
If you don't have time for one Pilates class, you're not going to have time to
No,
organise a whole
no.
Strictly Come
As
Dancing.
I said, I stopped Pilates just due to time pressures. That's all it was. I actually really enjoyed it, and I said you're a very good teacher. Now, I'm going to ask you, we'll go back to earlier stuff, but
Yep.
Ciroc-wise,
Yep.
okay, what was it like on your first night? Where did you go?
It was the Pavilion.
Oh, the Bath Pavilion.
So I probably met you there, but I didn't really know.
So I would have been
obviously.
teaching.
Probably, I
Well,
think so.
I was the only teacher there for a long time, so yeah.
And it was, before I was a Pilates teacher, I worked in an opticians, and one of the reps for a sunglass company was around, and he was a Ciroc taxi dancer.
Oh, who was this?
I've forgotten his name. Rob.
Okay.
The rep from Maui Gym, but he was a taxi dancer way on the east of England.
Oh, okay. I thought it was one of our taxi
Yeah, no,
dancers. Okay.
Sussex,
Right.
way. And he was in Bath selling our practice sunglasses. And the great thing about Ciroc is you can kind of look up in your local area, wherever you might be, where your nearest dance class is. And he was going to the Pavilion rather than sitting on his own in the hotel room that night. And he went, "Oh, do you want to come?" I was like, "Okay, yeah, sure." So I went along, and did I do the class? I can't remember. I really
I was
can't.
going to say, what was your first night like?
Can't remember, but I danced with Rob, and because he was quite a good dancer, and I could follow, because I'd done a bit of ballroom dancing before, it all worked quite well. I was like, oh.
Yeah, and off you went.
Off I went.
Yeah, the Bath Pavilion used to be there for many, many years, and then due to a variety of factors, mainly that they increased the rent somewhat, we had to sadly leave.
I say off I went. I was a bit of a break, so I kind of went 2 or 3 times with Rob when he was visiting Bath, and then I didn't, because it was a bit scary to go on your own.
Yeah.
And then probably went back to ballroom with my mum when my mum was still alive. And then after I lost my mum, kids started school. That's when I met our mutual friend, Kate, who said, "Come along to Ciroc, you don't need a partner."
This is Kate Garrett, isn't it?
Kate Garrett, yeah.
The lovely Kate.
So, I thought, okay, let's do this properly. So I'm in.
So you went along, and eventually you got pretty decent, and then you became a taxi dancer. Yeah, and then eventually you came on stage.
Yeah.
When did you start being on stage? I lose track, because every day is this. Yeah.
Don't know, probably...
Were you on stage at the Bath Pavilion? Because I remember Kate
No,
was.
Kate was. I started on stage at Peasdown.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. So we used to be up at Peasdown.
So probably 2017, maybe.
Yeah, it's a while ago now, isn't it? So,
Yeah.
and now you're on stage every other week. So, along with Kate still, who's
Yeah.
still coming along.
Because we love it.
Heart and soul
We're
of the venue.
we're gonna fight anyone who wants our job.
Yeah, it's yours for life, Sarah. It really is. Now, you
Although we have both said you need to tell us if we need to step down. If we are too old, step down.
Sarah, now you know me a long time, okay? One of the things that you know about me is that I am brutally honest with everybody. For the good or the bad.
Yeah.
People say, it's just Richard. If you want to know an opinion, ask Richard, because he'll tell you exactly what it is. If
We know where we stand, okay?
you know where you stand, you've got a job for life, okay? So, no, you're all good, at least for another 6 months, okay? Now, you mentioned doing ballroom as well. So what have you done ballroom-wise?
It was when Strictly started, I think. I'd sort of, if I could have my life again, I would go back way from age 3 and 4 and dance from that age.
Yeah.
But I didn't. So I was in my mid-30s, probably, when Strictly started. And I thought, oh, I'd really like to do that. Lyle, do you fancy it? Of course he didn't.
No.
So my mum said, well, I used to dance when I was a girl. I'm sure I could learn to lead. So she learnt to lead and I followed. And we went to ballroom lessons once a week.
And how was that?
It was fun. Slow going, slow learning compared to what we do.
Yeah.
You could be a whole hour learning, 6 steps.
Well, I remember going to tango classes in Oxford many, many moons ago.
Yeah.
And genuinely for 6 weeks, we just walked around a room.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was a teacher, and I was like, I'm pretty certain I can go quicker than this.
Yeah.
And it's interesting with ballroom, and that one of the things I love about Strictly is that they've now gone from, if you look at Strictly in the 1980s, it was very traditional. You did the exact dances as it is. The Strictly professionals now, they don't just have to be able to do the 10 ballroom dances. They need to be contemporary dancers, street dancers.
Yeah.
And like Anton Dubek, who's now retired from it all, when he was having to do some of the other stuff.
Trying to do breakdancing and stuff.
It was hilarious to watch.
Not in his repertoire.
No, and it's a bit like when people ask me how street am I.
We're very cool.
It's not necessarily my forte, shall we say. I'm a little bit more on the ballroom elegance side, I would like to think, rather than the yo-yo-yo. There are other teachers that can do that better than I can. So yeah. So I'm going to take you back to an experience that we had in lockdown, actually, which combined Sarok and ballroom. Mm-hmm. So what I was desperate to do during COVID was kind of get people back on the dance floor, but remind people that you could do loads of different dances within Sarok, because Sarok is a fusion of all dances.
Yeah.
So in one afternoon, we taught, all at basic level, rumba, cha-cha,
in
and
between
salsa.
Nicely spaced out cones.
Absolutely. And I remember I wasn't practiced at doing it. We did quite a lot of practice for this. And when we got to the salsa bit, which isn't my forte again, I could not count for love nor money. And you were just looking at me going, what is going on? And I just felt for all the people out there trying to learn from what I was saying. I was going, 1, 2, 3, 4, 8. Whoa,
You knew there's a 7 in there somewhere.
There must be a 7 somewhere.
But in salsa, you don't go 5, 6, 7, 8.
No, and it was all kind of very, very bizarre. But I also remember doing it the following week at Swindon, and actually it went all right.
It went better.
I think people still had their minds blown slightly from it all. Learning 3 dances. You're saying about the speed of learning that. We taught 3 separate dances in 4 hours.
Yeah.
Which is the other end of the spectrum.
A little routine in each.
Yeah, absolutely. The other end of the spectrum.
So yes, if I could go back, I would still do ballroom and Sarok, and I would just dance as much as possible.
Now, you do another type of dancing as well called heels. Tell us about heels.
Yeah, heels was bought for me as a 50th birthday present by another of our dancing friends.
You're 50?
No. This is radio. I'm still 32.
You are. As am I.
So he bought me a little month's course. I don't know. I still don't know why. He thought it would take me out of my comfort zone.
Okay.
He thought it would be good for me.
Yeah. Was he right?
I was very, very scared when I first went. Very, very scared. Didn't quite know what I was letting myself in for.
So for those that aren't aware of what heels is, and let's face it, that's going to be everybody, please explain what heels is.
Heels is dancing in very, very high stiletto heels. It's quite sexy. Can't even say the word sexy normally.
How sexy.
Sexy. I sound like Miranda, you know.
do.
And I turned up and the teacher was amazing. The teachers are incredible.
Yeah.
And the girls...
I've watched them for hours.
Hours.
Yeah.
And the girls are all in their 20s.
Right.
And then there's me.
Okay.
But I can keep up.
Yeah.
I can keep up.
Okay. And what type of movements are you doing in heels then?
Sometimes we're on our feet, sometimes we're on the floor, sometimes we're on hands and knees. The only thing I'm not great at yet, twerking. Please don't ask me to twerk. It's not a good look.
You're not going to twerk right now.
I'm trying.
Twerking, for those that aren't aware, is where you are bent over slightly.
Or on your hands and knees.
Or on your hands and knees and then jiggling around quite quickly.
You've got to imagine that you've got, if you're on hands and knees, if you're on all fours, you've got a tennis ball balanced on the back of your bottom.
Okay.
And
We're
you're
all jigging up and down
trying
at
to
the moment.
bounce the ball.
Okay.
By arching and flexing your spine. But yeah, it shakes.
I just look like a Jack Russell.
You've got
on
to
the
shake
desk
what
then.
you've got.
Now, have you ever thought about the scenario of combining your Pilates teaching with dancing teaching? Ever thought about being a dance teacher then?
I don't know. Nobody's ever asked me.
Okay.
Again, it's finding time, isn't it? But I would
Again, whether it
never
be
say
Sirocco,
never.
whether it be ballroom, whether it be heels, whatever it may be. You know, you're a teacher.
Who knows where life takes you?
You never
Who
know.
knows?
You never know
Who
where
knows?
life takes you. So you're waiting to be asked then. Is that where we're going?
No, I'm fairly busy at the moment. It would have to be a conversation. It would have to be a change of life direction, I think.
Well, anything is possible. You never know. We're going to come back with Sarah's quick fire round next. I know. I can't wait for that. Back with Sarah after this.
This is Radio Bath. Radio Bath.
Time for the last part now with the lovely Sarah Lloyd Clarey. She's been with us all morning, talking Pilates, adoption and dancing already. Quick fire time. Now, Sarah, here's the big question for you. Okay. You are local to Bath.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm a Bathonian.
Bathonian. You've known me for a long time. You've known me all the time that I've done this radio show. I have done about 100 at least 100 episodes now.
I
Lots
should
of them
have listened to a quick fire round before I came here, shouldn't I?
The questions are the same, Sarah.
Damn it.
You've not listened, have
No,
you?
I haven't.
Yeah, there you go. Are you going to listen back to this episode?
Oh, if I can stand the sound of my own voice.
If you can sound your own voice, that's what you're trying to say, isn't it? You don't sound West Country at all. No. Anyway, 11 random questions, which you don't know.
No,
because
I
you
don't.
Damn well listen. But we'll start off easy and they get slightly more complex as they go on. What is your favourite ice cream, Sarah Lloyd Clarey?
Peach Melba, which you don't see very often anymore.
No. Nobody's ever said peach Melba. There's a new one for
Fruity
me.
and refreshing.
Okay.
Should try it.
Is it more of a sorbet or is it actually an ice cream?
No, it's an ice cream.
Okay.
Ice cream.
Peach Melba.
Yeah, it's peach ice cream with a raspberry-like ripple through it.
Okay, I have to say that sounds like the worst ice cream I could possibly imagine, but that's more the raspberry. Still, every time I think of raspberries, I think of pips.
There's
that get
no
stuck in my
pips.
teeth.
There's
I
no
know.
pips.
But also, I don't like the taste of raspberries.
Oh, well, yeah. Stick with chocolate.
Or the texture. Or raspberries. But strawberries I like.
Okay.
There we go. Anyway.
Peach
moving on.
Melba. There
Peach
you are.
Melba. Very good. I know the answer to this question because I've been to your house. Are you tidy or messy?
I'm a tidy person.
I know you are.
But I live with 3 other very messy people and a dog.
So, yeah, your Pilates area is immaculate, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's professional space. Of course it is.
Yeah. So you are a tidy person
Yes.
all round. I knew that. Right, love or hate roller coasters?
Love them.
Oh, tell me more about
Love
roller
them.
coasters.
Oh, upside down, round and round, more the merrier.
Okay,
Yeah.
when was the last time you were on a roller coaster then?
Yeah, quite a while ago. Haven't been to a theme park for a while. I think Alton Towers was the last one I went to.
Yeah. Okay, can you remember any of the rides at Alton Towers?
Rita is my favourite.
Rita's a great one.
Rita is my favourite.
Yeah.
That's standing start to really, really fast.
Yeah, just got to make sure you hold your head in the right place, otherwise you can get bashed from side to side a little bit.
Again, I'm quite strong, so I'm okay with that.
You are.
I am. The Smiler.
Yeah.
I can remember the Smiler.
Yeah,
I mean, again, I've been to Alton Towers when the corkscrew was new.
The corkscrew?
Yeah. I think that might have even been dismantled now.
I don't think it's there anymore. No, no, there's no corkscrew.
Yeah, but I
at Alton
love
Towers.
a roller coaster.
Fabulous. I agree with you. Do you do the trick where... Well, I do the trick of taking the travel sickness pill.
I don't know. It doesn't bother me at all.
Yeah, because I get really travel sick, so there we go.
No, it doesn't bother me.
Do you hang your toilet roll over the top or behind the back?
Over the top.
It's like that's obviously. Why would you not do it over the top? It's what?
I know this from a Zoom chat we had in lockdown when we all used to get together, the dancing community, that we couldn't dance.
No.
Let's never go back there again.
No.
And there was a debate in your house about which way was the right way round. But
There was.
Yeah.
And that's where this question has come from.
Yeah.
And it's the question that creates the most amount of talk.
Are
from
you an over the
anybody.
top or an underneath?
Absolutely over the top.
Why would you do it any other
Now,
way?
my follow-up question then, Sarah Lloyd Clarey of Bath originally, is if you went to somebody else's house and it was behind the back, would you swap it round?
Oh, no.
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 I would, yeah.
What,
When I say I
how
would, I
embarrassing
have.
would it be if you took it off and then you couldn't get it back on again?
No, it'd be an obvious one. I generally, even if it's like the ones where you have to pull it apart to put it back,
Yeah.
I've still got it. I've done
Okay.
it. Yeah.
No, I'd leave them to it.
I can't leave it the other way around. It's just wrong. Do you eat your chocolate from the fridge or from the cupboard?
I'm not a big chocolate fan. I would say from the cupboard.
You're a cupboard person, yeah. How come you don't like chocolate then?
I don't mind chocolate. I would rather have toast or a cream cake than chocolate.
What cream cake would you choose then?
Fresh cream apple turnover.
Look at that.
Easy.
Chocolate's like, I don't really like
No.
chocolate. Cake, now I know this is Radio Land, so they can't see you, but your body language went, wow,
Ooh,
let's
yes.
talk cake. Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you, I forgot to listen. So cream cake.
Cream apple turnover.
Cream apple turnover,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Has Dot ever made any of those?
No.
Oh, maybe you could
I
request.
could request a Dot. Oh, that would be good, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So for those that aren't aware, when we go to some of our events, Dot, who's one of our most favourite people in the world, she does the
she's
baking.
awesome.
She is awesome. But I don't think she's ever made a cream apple turnover.
No, so it's a puff pastry, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
a puff pastry square. You fold it into a triangle. It's got stewed apple in it and piped in
There you
fresh
go.
cream.
I'm going to
Yeah.
request that Dot makes some creamed apple turnovers or apple whatever it is.
She'll kill me.
Yeah, maybe you can message her. Right. Do you make your bed in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, why?
Why not?
Well, lots of
We've
people just
already
get out.
discussed I'm tidy. It's a duvet and a sheet. All you've got to do is flump up the pillow and put the duvet back.
Okay,
That's
so my
all.
follow-up question then is always, apart from the pillows, are there any extra cushions on the bed?
No.
No. Wow.
We do have. I like squishy pillows.
Hmm.
I like a nice squishy pillow, whereas Lyle likes a more firm pillow.
Yeah.
So there's arguments if we've made the bed and put the wrong pillow in
Yeah,
on
I
the
get
wrong
that.
side.
But no extra cushions.
No.
Wow, you're very,
No.
very rare. Let me put it that way.
Yeah.
Because we have 6 on our bed.
That's extra work every morning and night, surely.
I'm aware of that, yes. And I'm so particular in the way in which I do. If they're not in the right order, in the right structure, then it doesn't work for me. Because if they're going to be on there, they have to be on there right.
Okay.
So, but that's my little world that I live in.
If you had less pillows, you'd have more time to do something else.
I don't want any extra cushions on there, Sarah. It's not my choice. Yes, if I'm there by myself, the pillows don't go on there in the morning. But that's a different matter altogether, which I probably shouldn't broadcast. What is your favourite breakfast?
Oh, I have several. I wake up. In fact, no, sometimes I even go to sleep thinking, what shall I have for breakfast tomorrow?
Okay.
Um,
what would be in that menu?
Fruit with yoghurt on. That's one breakfast sometimes. I like toast, as I've mentioned before. So anything on toast, jam, cheese, Vegemite.
Now, it has to be
Peanut
Marmite,
butter.
surely, but you're married to an Australian.
I'm married to an Australian. It's
Yeah.
Vegemite. Or cereal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you're not fussed?
Not fussed.
Just eat?
Just eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't eat breakfast.
Oh, I wake up starving.
Yeah, you have to eat.
I as I say, I sometimes lie going drifting off to sleep thinking, hot cross bun for breakfast tomorrow? Yeah,
Okay.
that'll do.
Very nice. If you had to do it, what is your go-to karaoke song?
Oh, you wouldn't want me to sing.
I didn't say I was going to
No.
ask you to sing. I was just asking in a very innocent way, Sarah Lloyd Clarey, what would your karaoke song be?
I don't know. It would be something like really old school, like Dolly Parton.
What, 9 to 5?
9 to 5
Okay.
or-
And how would that sound?
Oh, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. I have never been so drunk that I suddenly think, do you know what? I'm going to sing karaoke.
So you've never done karaoke then?
No.
Have you not? Oh,
No.
it's hilarious. It's frightening as well.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're all going to have to
I mean,
go
the
out.
closest I've got to karaoke is like with the Wii Fit at home, doing
Yeah.
the dancing to the Wii Fit and singing along, but
Okay, but not
or something
publicly.
ABBA. It would be something old school.
Okay.
It would be 70s or 80s, not modern.
We all need to go out for an out night and do karaoke. I think it has to be done. The piano bar does it in Bath, doesn't they? They have the room upstairs.
Do they do
bar.
karaoke
They do
as well?
karaoke
Oh, do
upstairs,
they?
yeah, they do. Favourite TV programme or film?
Well, obviously, we have discussed Dirty Dancing before, so
It's
that's
the
a
only,
classic.
The only film that exists.
That's a classic. TV series Big Bang Theory I enjoyed.
Have we spoken about that?
No.
Have we not?
I think so.
Okay.
That's one we've seen from start to finish.
Well, I am a Big Bang Theory obsessive. I've seen the whole seasons 3 times through at least.
Yeah,
All of them.
I mean, it's like Friends, isn't it? They're on repeat somewhere in the world,
I
24/7.
quite often have them sat on my phone just playing along as I'm doing work, you see. So yeah, I've done Big Bang Theory right from start to finish, at least 3 times through. And Young Sheldon. Have you seen Young Sheldon?
I've seen Young Sheldon,
I haven't caught up. I saw a tiny bit of George and Mandy's First Wedding, which is the spin-off from Young Sheldon.
Okay.
Haven't quite got around to watching that properly
No,
because it's
I've
not
not
really
seen
properly
that yet.
available in the UK just
Yeah.
yet. I may have watched it via YouTube. Let's go there.
Slightly illegally.
Not illegally, but there was methods behind my madness. But yeah, Big Bang Theory is an amazing program, and you generally feel like they got on with each other.
It was great. I loved it. We loved it, and it was one of the things that you can watch. We watch together because sometimes, like I've loved Sex and the City, and that's just come to an end now. This week, in fact, I think.
I didn't even know it was back on.
Well, they're doing. It's called And Just Like That, so it's a spin-off from Sex
okay.
and the City. They're on season 3, and Sarah Jessica Parker and Michael Patrick, the
Is it good?
writers. I've enjoyed it,
Okay.
but they've decided to call it a day. So.
Okay.
So I used to watch that for the clothes and the shoes.
I'm sure that's
and the
exactly
life
why
that I
do it.
never had.
The clothes and the shoes and the Sex in the City. 2 questions to go then, Sarah. If you came back in your next life as an animal, which one would you be and why?
I'd be a dog, but
I
it would
knew you'd
have
be a
to be a nice pet, somebody's lovely pet.
Okay, so not just a dog, but somebody's pet.
Yeah, not as some poor street dog
Okay.
left to fend for itself in the wild. I'd want to be someone's pet that was looked after, because our dog has a wonderful life.
Yeah. So you want to be your dog, basically?
Or just somebody who loves their pet dog.
Oh,
I'd be that dog.
And your
Yeah.
last question, Sarah. Where is your happy place?
Oh, I'd say on the dance floor,
On the
right?
dance floor, well, which is where we'll
Yeah.
be later tonight, of course, which is lovely. Thank you so much for coming in today. Thank you for
you
your
very
honesty
much.
earlier in the adoption part. If you've missed any of this, then you can catch up on the podcast. Type in Radio Bath to any podcast provider, and you can do that, or you can click on the Podomatic link as well. I'm back next week between 10 and 12. Have a great week.